but I do want to give another shout out because they are aligned with RFK. This is a new alliance, I guess, with Ford. But Rick Ware Racing, Justin Haley in that 51 car, and then Kaz Grala in the 15. Top 20 results for both guys. Grala 19th, Justin Haley 17th. You saw Grala kind of flirting with the top 15 today, and then Justin Haley was consistently the top 12 to top 10 all day. I want to give a shout out to them because they are clearly taking the right step. You can tell they've invested in their future with obviously Justin Haley in the signing, but the RFK Alliance, they're not just that back marker Rick Ware cars that you're used to in the last few years that we've made fun of. I mean, it's really nice to see.
No, exactly. And this is what NASCAR was hoping for with the next gen car. To if you put investment into the sport and you actually, you go out there and week to week, you bring your stuff to the racetrack, you spend the money, you will be competitive. And I think this is proof of that. Because how else do you explain, Rick Ware Racing taking that big of a jump in 1 year? I think the alliance is brilliant. I think, having Justin Haley in the car, we all kind of scratched our heads a little bit when he signed there because we're like, man, that's kind of like signing your death warrant, it felt like, especially as a cup driver. But ultimately, it's good to see that they're investing in him. And yeah, I agree, Bob. We do have to give them their flowers because, of course, do I think a race win is coming? No, I don't think so. Maybe not this year, but they're certainly building something. It feels like RFK, maybe 2 years ago, to where, it just seems like they have the right pieces in place to where if they are going to build a winning culture or a culture that can at least, get these results, like you said, where, top 15 is probably the realistic expectation right now. But if they keep doing that, it's good for the sport as a whole. And it was one of those things. I looked at the ticker and saw him. I believe it was running 7th, and I thought it was some sort of typo, but no, he was there for a few laps, really mixing it up, being competitive. And if it wasn't for the tire fall off, which has been the story of our podcast at this point, he probably would have had a pretty good chance of finishing in the top 10.
And that was part of the reason that NASCAR didn't take that 51 charter from Rick Ware. If you finish in the bottom 3 each season, for I think it's 3 seasons in a row for NASCAR, they have the right to take your charter because it's not competitive. But they even cited the Justin Haley signing for Rick Ware as, hey, it shows that they are invested in competing in the future. Not saying, like you said, they're going to win races. But yeah, I like the comparison with RFK, maybe a front row or a Spire even, where Spire is building something toward the future. That their goal last year was just, top 20, top 15, build on that with Corey LaJoie. You might be able to see that with Justin Haley and Rick Ware. I don't know, but even Kaz Grala, a solid day for him, keeping the car clean. Listen, like we said, they're not going to be overnight championship hunters, but this isn't the same Rick Ware that we've made fun of in the last few years. Oh, they don't have the speed. They're going to run 35th all week. No, they are competitive enough to where you could claw and scratch and maybe even fight a top 10 or a top 15 each week. This isn't the first time we've seen Justin Haley running in the top 20 ad.